lot of folks in this room are pretty frustrated. The Chicago Police Department, people are pretty angry about what's been happening here. And angry about the lack of response and how little has done in response to what's been going on in this city.
It's really difficult to capture individuals who have been harassed by the Chicago Police Department because a lot of folks don't complain because it is their normal, right? It's their everyday. And then folks who have complained haven't really gotten justice in the system that exists today. So I believe that there needs to be more services that are independent of police officers in the Chicago Police Department.
I came out to this event because I was interested in where the DOJ was in their investigation. It looks like right now they're looking for specific people to talk to about specific incidents that they've encountered. But they're also open to hearing what folks have to say outside of specific things, like people's specific encounters with the police. And it was just good to hear people's stories and to see that people came out to share with folks here.
We're looking at the force practices, the accountability practices, and whether or not there's discrimination. So what we'll be seeking if we do find a pattern or practice of misconduct, constitutional violations, is sort of often a revamping of the accountability systems if we find that that's the problem.
Understand something, this is systemic, not just in the police department. This is in the judge's department, it's in the law department. This is systemic from the top down, from the mayor's office.
This is a topic of conversation in all the barbershops. How the police stump somebody's head for just doing nothing. There were cops at where I grew up near CVS. They were routinely rousting young boys. Some of them were doing some wrong, however, it didn't justify the number of people that they impacted. That's why it's important, because it's not just one person or one gangbanger that gets thrown in jail. It's all the innocents that are constantly harassed, they're arrested, they're beaten, demeaned, defamed, dehumanized, and that has to stop.
First, we have to establish whether or not there is a pattern or practice, right? And then once we do that, we would enter in negotiations with the city. And if we did that and we agree to a consent decree. I don't know how long the consent decree would last. Usually what they say is that the consent decree ends when the city comes into compliance with the consent decree and then sustains that compliance for a couple of years. Could be years, yes.
I think that the DOJ could be very successful in their consent decree if we had more input. And that's the problem. That's why there was such a frustration when we were talking about why isn't social media apprised about this meeting.
I don't have a lot of trust in the DOJ, really. If you look at their past actions, and nothing ever came of it, really. And there were several places where they should have done something. They're talking about they couldn't find evidence. For instance, the Brown kid in Ferguson, Missouri. Now, they said they couldn't find enough evidence to prosecute. That was a bunch of baloney. So I really don't think, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think the DOJ gonna do no better job than they have done in other places, really. But I just came out to see what they had to say.